Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Thom Filicia changed pop culture as one of the original Fab Five on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I spoke with him about the group's road trip reunion special, now streaming on Peacock.
Hey, Jason, how are you? It's good to hear from you.
Obviously, there's a hit Netflix reboot right now we've all been watching. I actually really enjoy the new version, too. But talk about how you decided to get back with the original Fab Five.
Well, we actually are still really good friends. And, I live in New York City. Carson lives in New York. Ted lives in New York, and so I see those guys, pretty often here in the city. And Carson and I shot a show for Bravo called Get a Room a year and a half ago, and Carson and I do a lot of interior events because he's very interested in interior design as well, and I have all my businesses in interior design, so I see him a lot. And this all came up because we were thinking of getting together for Jay's birthday, which is Big 4-0. He was our younger brother. He's about 10 years younger than all of us. And so when we were shooting Queer Eye back in the day, we used to haze him for being our little brother, and I would duct tape him to chairs and, lock him in the car or whatever, and treat him just like a little brother. And so when he was turning to Big 4-0, we just thought that we would all get together and have a dinner or do something kind of fun like that. And then it just kind of turned into a reunion. So it just kind of happened naturally, and we just thought, okay, that would be a ton of fun. And, I see the boys in ones and twos a lot, but never all of us together and all of us kind of working together. So it was actually a lot of fun to kind of be back in that space together and then sort of joining forces to celebrate Jay's birthday was a lot of fun.
When this thing came out in 2003, a lot has changed since then in terms of, LGBTQ rights. The Supreme Court ruling wasn't until years after this. 2003, you guys were still pretty, ahead of the curve there, at least in a public awakening. How much do you think you guys helped shape that conversation by, when we see a show like Queer Eye for Straight Guy, it starts entering, you become household names. It starts entering mainstream America.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I think we were definitely a part of that. That was a perfect storm, that moment in 2003, 2004, 2005, where all of these things were happening in media, and there were a lot of things happening politically and socially, and things were really starting to the conversation was really becoming very prevalent and very, it was getting louder and louder, and I think we were a part of, making that conversation happen and getting people a comfort zone to actually have the conversation. I think we opened that door. We were part of things that all of these different things that were happening in media at that time that really did open the door and start that conversation. We were certainly the first, gay men that were playing ourselves and being just ourselves as gay men on television and connecting and sort of becoming friends with this, the straight guy that we were working with to help him sort of achieve his goals and working together as a team. And I think that, it was such a great message that, here was this unlikely, group, coming together and then finding this straight guy in need that wanted to do something interesting or cool or different or exciting or, just take a big step forward in his life. And we were working as a team to help him do that. And I think, that's such a great message even today, is about people with different points of view coming together and working together and working as a team as opposed to, kind of not working as a team. And I think that that's still a great message. And I think that we were definitely a part of really springboarding that concept forward. And, I think, we didn't realize at the time how important what we were doing was, and we were having so much fun doing it, and it was very natural, and it was, I think it was super organic, the way it kind of all sort of came together at that time, and I think that's what people really enjoyed about it, and I think that's why so many people invited us into their homes to watch, with their kids and their parents and, grandparents and friends and neighbors and family, and they invited us into their homes, and I think we started that conversation and that dialogue. So it was a really, really cool moment, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And I think, as Carson says, we may have saved the world from pleated pants.
You can slap that on a poster. That's a good line. Let's rapid fire really quick. I want to mention each of these original Fab Five guys. Ted Allen, he's obviously a food and wine connoisseur, but what's he like in person?
So Ted Allen is hilarious, dry sense of humor, a lot of fun, and I would say what makes him a great, he's very analytical, so he's really great at sort of looking at something, analyzing it, and coming up with sort of, what makes it what it is, why it is, how it could be great, how it could be better, and why it's not great or delicious. So I think he's really great that way.
All right, and then Kyan Douglas, grooming expert.
Kyan Douglas, he's a total hair diva. He loves hair. He's playing with his hair all the time. Kyan is, he is like, when they call him the grooming guru, because he really is very spiritual. He's really a sweet, sweet, sweet soul. And he is, what makes him great is that he not only connects with people in terms of trying to help them, sort of figure out the best sort of hairstyle for them, but he also connects with everyone, sort of figuring out what makes them happy, bringing in a little bit of peace, and sort of using that as a moment to sort of connect with them. And he does that all the time with all of us and with every straight guy that we worked with him on.
Awesome. Carson Kressley.
Carson Kressley is unbelievably hilarious. He is so much fun. He's super smart. And what makes Carson really great at what he does is it's just, his personality. He has such a big personality, and he brings so much personality to what he does with clothing, and he really tries to bring the personality of the person out through the way he styles them. And so he really sort of taps into that person and figures out sort of what makes them tick, and then he sort of takes it to a level that person would never go on their own. And it's a little bit, it's a little bit like he puts them in their sort of own personal drag, which is kind of cool. And I love that.
And then, of course, rounding out the group, Jay Rodriguez, sort of the pop culture expert.
Jay Rodriguez, he's an amazing, he's a Broadway actor. So what's great about Jay is that he is, theater is his life, and sort of being out in front of people is what he loves the most. So bringing people out into culture, bringing them out into the city, bringing them out into sort of what's happening, sort of pop culture, that is literally what he's all about. So he loves that. And it's been it's sort of his oxygen is just that. So he was amazing. He was our little brother. He's a sweetheart. He is so professional. He is such a great guy. He has such a kind, sweet personality, and he's a lot of fun. But he really is that person that just wants to be out and about, performing in front of people, knowing what's happening in the community. And I think that's why he really sort of epitomized, sort of the culture vulture for us, because it was really about getting these guys out and connecting them with something in the community that they were interested in, and that they were excited about.
Great. And then in closing, why do you think you made such a good interior designer?
Well, so I guess Thom Filicia, me, as sort of the design doctor, I've worked in design. I have a degree in design. I've worked for really amazing designers. I have my own design firm. I have my product lines. I have my showrooms, all the designers that work for me, and I work on projects all over the U.S. and outside of the U.S. So I am really saturated in the world of design, product design. And so for me, I feel like this was such a great fit because I love people. I feel that design is for people. I love bringing design, demystifying it to people, and making it really personalized and about them. So I think this was a really great, easy fit for me as a sort of a people person.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Everyone, again, it's the Reunion Road Trip, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, streaming on Peacock. Hey, thanks so much for joining us.
Let me know what you think of the show.
We'll do. It should be fun.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.